welcome back to another video, and today I will be talking about the Maibenben DMK01 keyboard. I don't know if you guys know, but there's this really popular keyboard called the RK61, the Royal Clutch 61, and it's something that I've been seeing pop up a lot on YouTube. It's sort of marketed as a budget version of a mechanical keyboard. It's really interesting whenever you see a new keyboard in this sort of cheap keyboard industry. It's something that really caught my attention because first of all, it's only about $30 US. I'm living in Singapore, so I got this off of this platform called Lazada. It's a shopping platform in Singapore. It's honestly a very interesting keyboard to review because I haven't seen a keyboard around this price range of such good value besides the RK61. Now, straight up, this keyboard has an amazing design because I am a huge sucker for 60% keyboards. I don't like a huge large keyboard with a number pad and just random keys everywhere. I think the essentials are basically what we need, and a 60% keyboard definitely does that job for me. Now, one thing I want to say is that I actually switched the keys. These are not actually the keys that came with this Maibenben keyboard. The actual keys were actually really cheap feeling, and I hated the fonts. Now, the fonts were just horrible. These keys are actually from Keychron. I sort of enjoy these keys a little bit more because they just feel a lot more premium and it has this matte finish to it. It just feels absolutely amazing. It does get a bit greasy, but I tend to just wipe my keyboard every now and then to just keep my keyboard feeling fresh. Okay, sorry to interrupt the video, guys. Editor DDT over here. I just want to update you guys that I've officially stopped using the Keychron keycaps because the paint started to chip off and I just didn't want to deal with it. So I've gotten a new set of keycaps. Look at these. These are absolutely beautiful. I love these keycaps. So if you guys wonder why there are inconsistent shots in the video, now you know why. With that being said, back to the video. Next up, the on and off switch is over here, as well as its charging port, which is USB-C, and that's a very welcome addition. To connect this keyboard is actually very simple. All you have to do is press function as well as Q, W, or E. Either one of them. Q is for the first device, W is for the second, and E is for the third device. This can connect up to 3 devices all at once, and I think that is just a huge selling point for this keyboard, especially at its price range. I can connect to my desktop, my iPad, as well as my MacBook Pro, and it changes between devices effortlessly, and I absolutely love it. The biggest con about this keyboard that I don't like is actually the battery life. I do notice that the battery life in the beginning when I first got it is a lot better. Every time I charge it, it could last me for about like a month straight, like just every single day using the keyboard. It could last about a month, but right now every say 2 weeks I would have to charge this keyboard at least once. So the battery life is definitely not the best in this keyboard, but if you were to use this in a more desktop setup like mine, keep the cable plugged in, I mean just use it as a wired keyboard, and only when you need to actually travel you could just plug it out, and it should last you for a long time. It is not the lightest keyboard, it's actually pretty heavy. This compared to Logitech keyboard, it's a bit of a difference. It's actually a lot heavier and a lot more hefty of a keyboard, but I do like that about it. It has 4 rubber paddings over here, and it's actually very useful because I don't like my keyboard moving around. I usually just set it up and I like to have that grip on the table. When it comes to the ergonomics of the keyboard, it's actually really nice. There's this nice little curve to it, and it just gives a better typing experience. I don't know how to explain it, but having that slope and that slant and your hands just like resting like that, it's just a lot more pleasant to type on rather than something very shallow and flat that is on the table, such as like the Apple keyboard, for example. Now, these are actually red switches. I'm not the most educated about switches. I don't know anything about Cherry MX switches. I hardly even know like what is a brown switch, blue switch, or a red switch. Don't take my word for it, but all I can just say is that I've done my research and this is a red switch keyboard. So the red switches are actually quite noisy. In fact, let's just do a typing test right now. Definitely not the quietest keyboard out there, but I don't think you'll be buying this to have a quiet keyboard. People who buys mechanical keyboards are definitely people who likes that clickiness to their keyboards. For me, I tend to buy my keyboards according to the design because I'm a huge sucker for amazing looking keyboards like these. Now this keyboard is definitely not hot swappable, so you can't change the switches or sort of do any more customization to this keyboard other than just buying new keycaps and slapping them on and making your keyboard look more sexy than it is. Oh, and did I mention this is actually a light up keyboard? I don't really like having lights on my keyboard because I don't know, to me it's just really distracting. I would rather just turn on my lights and have a very clean looking keyboard. Now, who would I recommend this keyboard to? I would recommend this keyboard to someone who loves the aesthetic of a mechanical keyboard and doesn't want to spend a fortune buying a mechanical keyboard, because mechanical keyboards are actually pretty damn expensive. A custom built keyboard can cost up to $200 to $300, and not everyone has the money to customize their keyboards like that. I definitely love to customize my own keyboards, and that is why I got this, because it is so cheap to find the body of it, and all you have to invest on now is just a nice set of keycaps to just switch out and put. I've been using this keyboard for around 7 months now, and it hasn't given me any problems besides the battery life. I think the only problem I could nitpick right now is that it's not the fastest or most responsive keyboard. But it's not slow by any means. Like, I don't usually plug my keyboard into my PC while I'm doing my work. I actually love using my keyboard wirelessly. If you're looking to do like competitive gaming or things like that, you wouldn't even be looking at wireless options. You would just be plugging your keyboard into your desktop either way. So I don't think the wireless lag is that big of an issue. It is really not noticeable if you just use it for typing. The lag is not as apparent. It's only apparent when you start typing really fast, or when you do some editing with different keyboard shortcuts. I think that's the only time you would realize the keyboard sort of having like a small split-second lag. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. My name is DDT and I am very new to this YouTube space, so do leave a like for me, subscribe to my channel, and if you want to see more keyboard review videos, leave it in the comment section down below. Happy typing, I love you guys.